Draw 4. That!
Hello everyone, Casey here, and welcome to my review for Tabletop Simulator. Tabletop Simulator is a tabletop game simulator developed by Berserk Games and was released for Windows and Mac on Steam on June 5th, 2015. I think before I get into reviewing the pros and cons of Tabletop Simulator, it'd be best if I describe exactly what it is, because there seems to be a bit of confusion on the web on exactly what this game is and how it operates. So, to put it simply, imagine you're sitting at a table in your kitchen or dining room. Imagine that you also own a very large amount of board games. You invite a few friends over and you play Monopoly or something. You all negotiate the rules and start playing. If someone breaks one of the rules, you call them out on it. Well, Tabletop Simulator is pretty much the exact same way. With any of the hundreds of games you can play on Tabletop Simulator, it is up to you, yourself, and the people you're with to keep track of the rules, whose turn it is, catch if someone tries to cheat, and so on. In other words, Tabletop Simulator has zero AI or coding to prevent misconduct from happening, and puts the full responsibility to you and your friends to play nicely. I've seen various places where people bought Tabletop Simulator thinking it was essentially a family game night sort of deal, and were extremely confused when they were put in charge of setting up and knowing the rules to all the games that they wanted to play. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get down to it, shall we? Tabletop Simulator comes with roughly 20 or so games, your standard checkers, chess, cards, dominoes sort of thing. Nothing that really is going to hold much interest to anyone for very long. But what makes Tabletop Simulator shine is the Steam Workshop community. Here you'll find hundreds upon hundreds of different games, from Uno to Life to Pictionary, Desperate Gods, Monopoly, Guess Who, Connect 4, Zombicide, and countless more. If the game exists, there's a hell of a good chance it's available on the Steam Workshop, though the level of quality naturally varies quite drastically from one creation to the next depending on the level of care the creator put towards it. The game makes it quite easy to play with your friends, allowing you to quickly host with a password to ensure a private session, or you can leave it open and have random players come in and start playing with you. The controls for Tabletop Simulator are very precise, but also quite complicated. Sure, base movements are as simple as clicking and dragging, but beyond that, it seems like almost every key has another function to it, from rotating cards, flipping coins, drawing a select amount of cards, or even pushing an item across the table without ever actually picking it up. You can do pretty much everything, it's just a matter of how to do it. The game does have a decent tutorial, but I found it teaches you the necessities and then leaves the rest up to you to figure out for the most part. I should also mention that Tabletop Simulator also has HTC Vive support, so if you're one of the few that currently has one, you'll be happy to hear that while the controls and support are in beta, it seems to work pretty well from what I can tell. I personally don't have a Vive, but one of my buddies does, and he uses it nearly every time we play, and he seems to love it. What makes this game work though is its physics system. It alone is solely responsible for allowing a unique game like Tabletop Simulator to exist. Every item has mass and weight to it. Some items are heavier, some items are lighter, but everything feels different, but logically so. Moving marbles around are slower and require a bit more effort than, say, a playing card. Only on the very rare occasion does the physics freak out a bit or have some sort of glitch, which means that for the majority of the time, the game is reliable and accurate. Tabletop Simulator is a rare and wonderful game, allowing for you and your friends, regardless of how far away they may be in the real world, to feel like you're sitting side by side in the same room. This is a game that quite literally cannot get old. Anytime you start to feel bored of one game, you can just move on to another for endless hours of fun. With stellar support this game has from its community, I don't see the game getting old anytime soon. This game has a lot going for it. Good graphics, complex and intriguing design, user friendliness for the most part, near endless game options, and a surprisingly cheap price tag. Buying it at full price would cost you only about $20 US, but you can almost always find a deal for it if you look hard enough. I would suggest Tabletop Simulator to anyone that is a fan of game nights. It brings back nostalgia for me as a kid when my brothers and I would play Monopoly or Uno, as I'm sure it would for many others too. My final score for Tabletop Simulator is a 9 out of 10, a near perfect game in its genre, with its only shortcomings really coming from the occasional physics glitch or poorly explained controls. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review for Tabletop Simulator. If you did, please be sure to click that thumbs up button and subscribe to stay up to date with my latest videos and reviews. Well, until next time, guys.